morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Simply Sarah Show. My name is Sarah Tuck, and I will be your host for today. But before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also leave your comments. Because when you leave your comments, when I have something going on, like a new show, promotion, or maybe something about one of my plays, they will be able to send you an alert to let you know that I have uploaded a new show. So don't forget to do that, okay? And we'll be right back after this commercial.
Yeah, just another day. Come on, that the Lord has made. Yeah, He's been there through it all. He's been there through it all. Look what you say. He's been there through it all. Through it all. Say.
I've had my ups and downs, cried but you heard my call. Looking back over my life, it was you who made a way. When my back was against the wall, you stood right by my side.
Just wanna thank you for my life, Lord, you sure been good. I saw you do it for my mama, so I figured you would. Always had what I needed, I was always fed. And even though we weren't the richest, never begging for bread. I remember God kept me in the midst of my struggle, gave me a ram in the bush at the end of my trouble. I was fragile and broken, but the angels, they hovered. Grace found me in my mess, I'm so glad I was covered. Yeah, I've been in the valley, but I've been on the top. God was with me all the time, cause his love don't stop. I never said I was perfect, yeah, I had my faults. God was there when I fell, he was there through it all. Now say,
I've had my ups and downs, cried but you heard my call. Looking back over my life,
you've been there. Yeah,
it was you who made a way. When my back was against the wall, you stood right by my side.
you was there for me.
I've had my ups and downs.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Simply Sarah Show. And as I said before, my name is Sarah Tuck, and I'm your host for today. And I wanted to do a show today for the youth. I wanted to keep our youth encouraged and let them know that they can invent things and think of things just like us adults. Now, sometime maybe when you're riding in the car with your parents, or you're just sitting around the house watching TV, you can get you a pencil and paper and just jot a few things down that you've seen that you like. And sometime later, go over that list. You can go over it as many times as you like, and then pick something out that you want to invent. Now, I know sometime you might say, well, I don't have time to do that. I play ball, or I'm on the cheerleading team, or I'm doing this. But now I think a lot of people have a lot of time to do things since we're kind of shutting down a little bit again and not doing as much stuff and going out as much. So this will be a good time for you to sit down and try to invent something. Now, today, I'm going to be sharing with you what I have invented. Now, I like sitting down thinking and using my time wisely in inventing things. And as some of you may know, I am an author, so I do a lot of writing. And this is one of the things that I will be sharing with you today in what I invented, and it called for some of my writing to help invent it. Now, as some of you may know, I started writing several years ago, and I've written different books. I write fiction and true story books. My books are found on Amazon and Books of Million, Walmarts, Targets, and other different places. And even, on Goodreads. So When you have time, you can look them up. But today I'm going to be talking about a book called The Dog Named Kane. This book I had written when my daughter let me know that she had gotten a dog and she named it Kane. And so now I call it my grandbaby dog. And so I was inspired to write about Kane when he had to come and live with us. Now, mind you, when my daughter first said she wanted a dog, my answer was no. And that was because I felt like Granny was going to be taking care of Kane more than Lauren was going to be taking care of Kane. But anyway, I've written a story on what happened is the reason why Kane wound up here. But when Kane first came, Kane was staying with her girlfriend. And then he wound up having to come and stay with us. But anyway, I was sitting and watching him one day, and he was keeping me company because I was a little lonely sometimes when she wasn't here. And just playing with him and sitting and watching him do funny things and rolling over in the floor and, just running and jumping up on me, and I would play with him, and he really brought a lot of life to my life. So I decided one day, I'm going to write a book on you, Kane. And that's just what I did. So I'm going to read a little of this book with you and share with you a little bit about the story of Kane, okay? The name of the book, as I said, is The Dog Named Kane. The story you're about to read is a true story of a dog named Kane who was born on April the 27th, 2020 in Murfreesboro, Kentucky, where he once lived. He was brought to Franklin, Kentucky on June the 8th, 2020 by his owner, Lauren, who pledged to love and care for him while giving him a new home. She had become the new mother of Kane, and his second owner, Ronell, was Kane's daddy, who pledged to love and care for him as well. He was Lauren's doggy daddy. He was actually the one who introduced Kane to her. Kane was a long way from home, and the family he once knew was left back in Murfreesboro, Kentucky. Now it was time for him to venture out into new places and things. As he grew and began to notice the area, he started looking around, noticing things were a little different than they were where he used to live back home. He didn't know anyone in Franklin, Kentucky, and he was new to the area. But as time moved on, he managed to make friends and had all kinds of love surrounding him each and every day. Kane had a stunning look about himself. He had a brown coat of fur with a tan splash on his face, right between his eyes and around his nose and under his chin and belly. His eyes lightened up like shiny bars of gold. He was the cutest dog you would have ever wanted to lay your eyes on. Once you saw him, you would have fallen in love with him. This is how adorable he was. On Kane's first night in his new home, Ronell had purchased a crate for him to sleep in. He adjusted to his new bed that night and slept like a little baby. And it didn't take him long to adjust to his new home. The owner's mother didn't know about Kane yet until one day she was with Lauren and she pulled up at her girlfriend's house and Lauren asked her if she wanted to see the dog. Granny Sarah was shocked to know that she had gone ahead and gotten a dog without her knowing it. The last time the two of them had spoken about getting a dog, Granny Sarah had replied to Lauren, no. Lauren had wanted a dog ever since she was a little girl. But Granny Sarah worked 2 jobs and wasn't able to help her take care of a dog. This may have been one of the reasons why she didn't get one before now. She knew that she had to put a lot of work into taking care of a dog. So Granny Sarah was unaware of her going ahead and getting the dog. But when she brought Kane out of the house and over to the car for her to see, she immediately fell in love with him. She knew Lauren was grown now and was making her own decisions. And from what she could see, she felt she had made a good decision in getting Kane. Granny Sarah had no trouble after that accepting Kane into her home and caring for him too. This time came sooner than she had expected it to. On the day of the 4th of July, Lauren was in a truck accident. Her neck was troubling her, and she was sore from being jerked around. She had to be off from work for 3 days. And this is when Granny Sarah decided to let Kane come home with her. Being together as a family was very important to Kane. Very important to Granny Sarah. And she knew this would make Lauren happy too. So she had his crate moved over to her home where he would have his own bed to sleep in. Then she was able to take care of the both of them. And from then on, Kane was the center of their lives. The days passed by, and Granny Sarah and Kane had begun to bond together into a close relationship while Lauren was getting well. Kane was once again getting used to staying in a different place. And it didn't take him long to win Granny Sarah over to his side. She loved him. She loved to see him running through the house and playing with his toys. He would even walk across the floor and run up to her, waggling his tail and his pink little tongue hanging out, wanting her to pick him up. Once you would pick him up and love on him, he was satisfied for a while until he wanted to get down and get into something else. Then he would go and play with his toys and chew on everything he could get to put in his mouth. Since he was little and cute, they laughed at him and let him kind of have his own way on the first. That was until he started getting bigger and was chewing on the rugs, paper socks, and all kinds of things. It wasn't funny anymore because he was beginning to become a pest in destroying things. When Lauren's mother told her what he had done when she came home one day from work, Lauren says, "Kane, you're going to have to get a job." They both laughed and looked at him from the side to side with their eyes. He was shut up in his cage at this very moment, looking out between the crate, wondering what's going on with these two. He knew he was in trouble. He looked so innocent. Looking through the cage, you couldn't help but to feel sorry for him. Time after time, he was warned about chewing on things that wasn't his toys. So one day, they bought him some more toys for him to play with hoping he would ignore the rugs and all kind of things. But this didn't do any good. He would still continue chewing on the rugs and all kind of stuff from time to time. Now I'm going to stop right there because I can keep reading and reading and read this whole book to you. So I wanted to just, like I said, share a little bit of what I done in, first of all, being blessed to become a writer. And then sitting and looking at something one day that inspired me to write about that. And I thank God for that blessing, for letting me be able to pick up on stuff like that and be able to sit down and invent something. So now I've invented a book that I can share with the world. So this is what I was telling you, that you can also sit down and make a list of some things that you would like to do. And then one day just pick one of those things and start working on it. Even if you just dedicate a little time to it each day. And if you want to become an author, sit down each day and write a little something. Just say, I'm going to dedicate 15, 20 minutes to writing something one day. And then one day you can sit down and go through it and just put it all together and make a book out of it. There's all kind of ways to invent things and do things. Now let's just think about this for a moment. Now, how do you think that all the other people in the world that has done things like this, that has been invented, like the phones, the cell phones, the TVs, the games you play, and all these other things, they done this by sitting down, taking time out and thinking and inventing something. So this is what I wanted to do, is to help you sit down and think of something to invent too. And maybe one day you will call us here at the Simply Sarah Show and say, Miss Tuck, I watched your show and you inspired me to do this. And also say, and I want to come on your show and share it with the world. Now, what would be a better way to get people behind you? This would be a great way to get people behind you. To let people know that you have invented something and that you need their support and that you want them to help you. And I'm not the only way that you can branch out to get them to help you. You can also make TikToks like I've made. You can also go on Instagram like I have. And there's all kinds of different avenues that you can show your work and share it to others and let them know what you are doing. Now, I hope that today that you will learn something else from my show after you see some of these things that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to let you know how I used this book in commercials, and I used it and also the dog and myself in TikTok. And I'm still thinking of ways to make Kane popular. I even told Kane one day that you're going to be so popular, all the ladies' dogs are going to be lined up in the neighborhood at your door asking to go out with you because they want to get your autograph. They heard you was doing this and that, and they want to go out with you. So we'll have to take y'all to the park and give y'all some treats and show y'all a good time. So it's all in fun and love. So we're going to take time here to let you watch how I've used all this, and then we'll be right back after you watch this. So let's take a look at what's going on. Kane has all grown up. Kane has all grown up. He's getting to be a big boy now. Give me Paul, Kane. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Kane. Good boy. Kane is up this morning on guard, watching to make sure everything's okay. I love my grandbaby dog, Kane. He's the king of this palace when he's at home. You want to make sure everything's straight. Because if it's not, he's going to take care of it. Welcome back, everyone. And I hope that each and every one of you enjoyed the show. And most of all, I hope that it encouraged our youth to where they want to sit down and get that pencil and paper and get busy. And I know that I said I did this show for the youth, but also if there were some adults that got something out of the show and want to sit down and invent something, please do. And if I had even a little something to do with it, please call us and let us know, or email us at Tuck Productions and let us know, because we want to know that we are helping in the community. Whatever we can do to help, then we want to be able to share it with others. And this is a great way to share it with others. And if you would like to come on the show, also contact me, because I'm always looking for new things to talk about, new ideas to share, and I just want to be able to help others. I've already have been inspired with some of the things that has happened from some of my shows, and I want to use one of them for example that I will be having them on later in the year. I had Mr. Langton Bratton on for he was talking to us. He's an author, and he was talking to us about leadership. And I also had a lady on for Children Are People, excuse me. And so they watched each other's show. And so I learned later that he reached out to her and said, I'm going to donate some books to the school. And my heart was just full of joy, because God showed me, Sarah, you are doing what I asked you to do, and you are touching other people's lives with it. So when you are obedient, when God tells you to do something and step out on faith, God has the map for you. All you have to do is follow it. And once you follow it, great things will come out of it. And you can sit back and say, thank you, God. I see why you had me to do this. It might not always make sense at first, but later he'll show you why he's having you to do what you're doing. So again, I hope that you enjoyed the show. And I have enjoyed talking to you today. And please, don't forget to check with on Amazon for the book, The Dog Named Kane. And, sometime when you're busy and you don't have time to read it to your children, you can also go on there and get it and push a button and it'll read to your children. So that way you can go on with your cooking, your housework, or what you have to do and just kind of peep in on them every now and then. And that will have their attention to where they will want to listen and know more about Kane. And I'm going to be coming out with part 2 of The Dog Named Kane. So they got to learn about the first book first so they'll know to follow the story. So once again, I've enjoyed this today, and I hope that you will join us once again. But until we meet again, I ask that you wear your mask, stay safe if they're required in special places. And until we meet again, sincerely, Sarah Tuck.
Somebody need to know that in the midst of your adversities, in the midst of your circumstances, that God is there in the midst. He'll never leave you or forsake you. I see my brothers hurting, I see my sisters crying. Things ain't working out, but Lord knows I'm trying. So many disappointments, so many hearts are broken. Lord, I need some answers, I need some doors to open. See, my money's low and my bills are high. I've been going through, sometimes I just wanna cry. Nobody's reaching out, nobody's hearing me. It seems like nobody cares about what is dear to me. Oh, tell somebody you love you, grab somebody and hug her. Tell somebody you care, tell somebody, let them know you're there. Oh, God knows your struggle, God knows He's there in your trouble. He'll never leave or forsake you. You serve a God who loves you. Tell somebody you love them, grab somebody and hug her. Tell somebody you care, let them know you're there. God knows your struggle, He's there in your trouble. He'll never leave or forsake you. You serve a God who loves you. I'm trying to keep a smile in the midst of trouble. Why is life so tough, man? Why do I have to struggle? If you're a Christian, tell me, are you listening? What are you doing to show it? Hey, does anyone know it? Will you help me out? Will you lend a hand? Will you hear me out? Or can you just understand? You see, I'm tired of fighting, like my mind is rattled. Lord, I give it to you, because this ain't my battle. Tell somebody you love them, grab somebody and hug them. Tell somebody you care, let them know you're there. God knows your struggle, He's there in your trouble. He'll never leave or forsake you. You serve a God who loves you. Tell somebody you love them, grab somebody and hug them. Tell somebody you care, let them know you're there. God knows your struggle, He's there in your trouble. He'll never leave or forsake you. You serve a God who loves you. Like I'm out here lost, can only imagine what you were feeling on the cross. Can only imagine all the pain that you felt when you were given this love and we were giving you death. And I can see the teardrops falling like raindrops, and they can't stop for this ill spot. Heaven is the main spot. You show me love, and that's why I trust ya. You paved the way, and I just wanna touch ya. I feel like I'm falling too fast. I can't see the light. How long will it last? I'm about to lose my mind when these thoughts go away. The devil sneaks in, but I gotta still pray anyway. Lord, I'm depending on you. It's okay. I'm never gonna help me make it through in this day. And when I don't know what to do, I fall to my knees and pray.